Man, what up? That like button as you come in the room, man. What's popping? Man, see the title? We was all waiting on this. I know I was. You know what I mean? You know, Big U finally spoke out. You know what I'm saying? Big U finally spoke out. I know I was waiting on this one right here because it's like Nipsey's the big homie. I mean, Big U's the big homie from the set. And it's like Wack was being so reckless. It's like, damn, why haven't Big U said nothing? You know what I'm saying? That's how I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? But he finally spoke out and he pretty much said his piece, you know what I mean? Let Michigan stand up, man. Yeah, but Big U, he finally, you know what I'm saying, broke his silence on the issue. You know what I'm saying? Now, Big U ain't one for the social media antics. You don't really see him all in social media, you know, going crazy and all that. He really carries himself like a OG should, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But without further ado, shout out to everybody that's tapping in. We're gonna just jump into it. You know what I mean? Now, you would think that okay, Big U, him speaking up, in Nipsey's defense, that's what he should do. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's expected to do because he's a crib and he's basically the leader of the 60s. You know what I'm saying? He the leader of the set, so you would expect him to pretty much take up for Nipsey or to speak up for Nipsey's behalf on this one. That's what you would expect. But what makes this kind of tricky is Big U and Wack 100, they have a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Wack 100, that's been his like solid go-to guy for a while. You know what I'm saying? Big U has been his solid go-to guy. You know what I'm saying? That's his man as far as he goes to Big U when he needs certain things done or certain issues handled. He depends on Big U. You know what I'm saying? So uh, those guys, even though Wack 100 is Paru and Big U is a Crip, you know what I'm saying? And they both hold a certain OG status, which Big U he's he's a lot more respected than Wack 100 is in LA. Because for one, Wack 100 is not from LA. He's from Pacoima, which is a suburb outside of LA. And Big U is from South Central LA. So just that alone, Big U name holds more weight in LA. So that's part of the reason if I would have to, put my 2 cents on it, that's part of the reason why Wack have to go to Big U to get certain things done in LA. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to dealing with these artists and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely have a business relationship. And it's a lot of people when they go to LA, a lot of artists they check in with Big U. Crips, Bloods, you name it. They check in with Big U. Do some of them check in with Wack? I would think some of the artists have a relationship with Wack, but for the most part, when the artists go to the West Coast, they check in with Big U. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. So it's fair to say that Big U name holds more weight in LA than Wack 100. And I would even go either farther to say that Big U name holds more weight just in the gang culture around the country, period. Because a lot of the 6 O's from different areas in the country, whether you got Atlanta, you even got 6 O's in New York, you know what I'm saying? And in different places in the country, uh all of these 60s, they pretty much look up to Big U. pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So you could say Big U's name holds more weight than Wack 100 in LA and throughout the country when it comes to the gang culture overall. You know what I'm saying? But Big U spoke out today, and basically what he said that Nipsey is a legend. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see his the IG post, you can go on his IG and check it out. Big U, the post is still up. He posted and he said that Nipsey is a legend, which you would think that he would big up his little homie. You know what I'm saying? You would think that he would do that. I mean, that's just like, uh, that's the automatic thing that you would think that would happen. He's gonna big his little homie up, and he's gonna say that regardless. But what makes it uh, a bit of controversy in that is the relationship that he has with Wack 100. It shows that them two is not necessarily seeing eye to eye on that topic. You know what I'm saying? Or just in general. This is an issue of dissension between the two. I don't know if they're gonna sit down and have a talk about it behind the scenes. Right now, it's playing out on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So I would think that they might have not talked about it. If Wack said what he said, and then Big U goes to the internet to kind of say his stance, I would think that they haven't talked about it. You know what I'm saying? But just for Big U to step in and say that and go contradict for what Wack is saying, that shows that them two is not necessarily seeing eye to eye. And if it's not just for this topic, this is something that could drive a wedge in between their business relationship. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Because I know the young dudes from '60s is mad about Wack, Paru getting in the middle of Crip business. You know what I'm saying? They feel a way about that. You know what I'm saying? So, the little homies is already on Wack bumper, and now you're hearing Wack 100. I mean, Big U. He's coming out and he's basically saying where he stands. You know what I'm saying? So basically, he's saying that his allegiance, whether he think Nipsey is a legend or not, Big U is saying his allegiance is with Nipsey. So he's saying you know, whatever Wack, you know what I'm saying, is saying as far as Nipsey not being a legend, he don't co-sign that, and he ain't fooling with that. You know what I'm saying? You know. So that's basically, when I seen that pretty much it jumped out at me because I know them two have a business relationship and somewhat of a working relationship. You know what I'm saying? Part self rough ass. Let me get this out the way. We can get this build out the way, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So we can get back to business, man. Let me get this little text out the way. Yeah. But yeah, Big U spoke out. He said his piece. Yeah, man. It's like anybody could see that Nipsey was a legend, man. It ain't just about your hip hop catalog. Even though Nipsey had a lot of music, it was more in the form of mixtapes than albums. Because Wack tried to say he only had one album. Nipsey had several mixtapes. He had at least 4 or 5 projects that he put out. You know what I'm saying? When we got people like, uh, shout out to the legend of the Notorious Big. He put out 2 projects. Nipsey put out at least 5 projects. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't try to say just because he put out one mainstream album, this is a different time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm glad that Big U addressed that, man. And he's more of a credible voice coming from out the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we get to get a good representative of the West Coast to speak on the issue because it was like, man, it was pretty much drawing a line. You know what I'm saying? Most people feel like Nipsey's a legend, but I do see some people that was kind of trying to take Wack's side or defend Wack's stance. You know what I'm saying? But to see Big U, you know what I'm saying, really, come and carry the flag, you know what I mean, and really represent for Nip at a time when somebody is throwing dirt on his name and he can't defend himself. Nipsey can't defend himself. So to see that he still got people that was willing to defend him, you know what I'm saying, in close relations like me, this is my second video on it. So it's plenty of people that was defending Nip, but it's like it's good to see that his loved ones is actually like, fuck that. You know, that's not correct. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to see that wasn't a West Coast outlook. That's just Wack. That's how he see it. That's just an individual standpoint. You know what I mean? Wack, he that's how he feels. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I was glad when I seen that, man. You know what I'm saying? Cause Nipsey, man, I hold Nipsey, man, very dear, man, to my heart, man. And I'm not a fan of nobody. Let's get that straight. I'm not a fan of nobody, though we do promote different artists through the brand, through the Urban Media Fix brand. I'm not a fan of nobody. You know what I'm saying? But I do support people when I see them trying to do the right thing, whether it's in music or in whatever a person's doing in a positive light. I support that. You know what I'm saying? So you know, artists, I don't necessarily gotta like the artist's music to support them. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know a lot of times if a person, you know, might don't like an artist's music, they don't support him at all. You know, that's like, oh, I don't like that artist. But see, I don't look at it like that. An artist is an artist. So an artist might put out 10 songs and I didn't like not one of them. But then their 11th song, bam, I'm throwing it in my playlist because it resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't look at an artist or an artist might could put out 10 songs that I like. Then bam, the 11th song, they put it out. It don't resonate with me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a fan as far as everything an artist puts out or everything an artist do or say, I'm behind it 100%. No, I support anybody that I see trying to do the right thing or try to, you know, doing something positive, you know, or something progressive. I support that. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's music, whether it's athletes, or you know, whether you're an artist, you know, whatever it is, I support anybody trying to do the right thing, man. Yeah, man, Wack is definitely out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? BH from All Money In, he said that Wack basically had no business speaking up on Crip business. You know what I'm saying? That's what BH said. Me personally, Crip and blood politics is not, you know, that's not my thing either. So I don't feel like I really got the right to speak up on Crip business either. But I can say that as a man, Wack should not be speaking up on dead people in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? When the question come across the table about Nipsey, all Wack should say is R.I.P. Nipsey. On to the next question. That's all Wack should have to say. If he don't got nothing positive to say, you know what I'm saying? You know, RIP, and on to the next question. Just to be trying to dig up a man and throw dirt on his name while he's dead, it's like, come on, man, you beating a dead horse. Your opinion about a dead person, in this case, a dead icon, you know what I'm saying? Like I heard somebody say, fuck a legend, Nipsey's an icon. You know what I'm saying? You speaking up on a dead icon, and you know, you really just throwing dirt on the man's name. You know what I'm saying? And Nipsey just died earlier just this year. It's not like, you know, this is years. He's been dead for years now. This is still a fresh wound, man. You know, not to say that, you know, they say all wounds heal with time, but it's like, yeah, man. Even when he spoke on Tupac died what, over 20 years ago? And still, we still haven't healed from that. You know what I'm saying? But really, you just should never speak on a dead person unless it's a positive thing. But they tell you, if you don't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? But especially if you, as a man, if it's certain morals and certain conduct that you got to carry yourself. You know what I'm saying? With a certain level of integrity and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So if a person is dead, you shouldn't speak on them unless you got something positive to say. If you don't got nothing positive to say, don't speak on them. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you had the opportunity to tell that person that while they was here and you didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah, Wack, man, he's definitely out of line. Yeah, he definitely out of line, man. And he definitely need to get some straightening, man. You know what I'm saying? He need to either clear his statements up or, it's a problem. I know it's gonna be something that's gonna come out of that. It's gonna be something to come out of that because them '60s boys, man, they don't play, man. Yeah, them '60s boys, they don't play, and they mad about this shit, man. We out of Oklahoma, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Yeah, we out of Oklahoma, my guy. You know what I mean? We like about I'm like 45 minutes away from Texas. Yeah, man. But yeah, Wack, man, he definitely it seemed like he do shit for shock value, you know what I'm saying? But for him to be a representative of the West Coast, Wack should, it's certain things how you gotta move, man. And to try to throw dirt on Nipsey's name, who was pretty much the king of LA, you know what I'm saying? He had the West Coast on his back. You know what I'm saying? Wack should honor that, man. Just like the same way Blueface should have honored the man when he passed, because it's like we talking about an LA legend. How can you not, if you from LA, speaking in Blueface, how can you not honor an LA legend? Nobody said you had to go to the funeral or none of that, but it's like, come on, man, pay your respects, man. The LA legend, he's a Crip. Both of y'all are Crip. It's like, you even Nipsey said it in his last tweet. It's a blessing to have strong enemies. Something in that, and that, and that. He said it was something to that effect. I'm not sure, but you got to be able to salute your enemies, man. If you got a powerful enemy, you got to be able to give props what props is due, man. As a man, you know what I'm saying. You got to be able to know if your enemy is a weak one or a strong one or not. You know what I'm saying. You got to be able to know those things, know the difference, because you got to know how to be able to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? You can't deal with every issue or every situation the same way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man, Big U, Blueface. At some point, I would think Blueface is gonna come out and pay his respects, man, at some point. Because he's still a young dude, man. So I don't really hold Blueface with too much of accountability, but Wack 100, this full grown dude, man, yeah, that dude here, he needs some straightening, man. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a proponent for black on black violence, but in some situations, we got to get physical. You know what I'm saying? It has to go past just words. You know what I'm saying? In some cases, you know. And Wack, he moving real reckless out there on the West Coast right now. You know what I'm saying? He moving real reckless. You know what I'm saying? How can we be mad at people like Kodak or NBA YoungBoy, some of these other youngsters that didn't really pay respect when Nipsey died? Well, NBA YoungBoy, he didn't pay respect, but he didn't disrespect Nipsey. Kodak blatantly tried to shoot a shot at Laura London before that Nipsey was even in the ground. Kodak was shooting a shot at Laura London publicly on his live and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that was like blatant disrespect. But it's like, how can we be mad at Kodak? And we know that he's a youngster. Then you got Wack. When we got Wack, this, you know what I'm saying, just blatantly being disrespectful, and he's supposed to be an OG. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, man, it's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely crazy. But in my eyes, Nipsey is definitely a hip hop legend. You know, his music will stand the test of time. That last album was a classic. You know what I'm saying? That last album was a classic. The joint, the victory lap, that was a classic. And on his other albums, you know, he had other albums that was a fire. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, man, Nipsey's definitely a hip hop legend, man. And Wack 100 Big U stamped it today. He said that he clarified that Nipsey is a legend. No matter how you try to mix that up and twist it up, Nipsey's a legend. You know what I'm saying? So now this kind of puts Big U and Wack 100 at odds, at least on how they look at Nipsey's legacy. You know what I'm saying? That put Wack 100 and Big U at odds over Nipsey's legacy of how they see it. Now, I'm sure at some point they'll have a conversation, you know, because by all accounts, I think they're pretty tight. You know what I'm saying? So I think they'll be able to have a conversation. But if it was me, and if I was in Big U's position, which by all accounts, that's some pretty big shoes to fill. You know what I'm saying? Because he's pretty much the general of LA. He's the man. You feel he's the head dude out there. You know what I'm saying? But if it was me, I would pretty much when I would talk to Wack, I would tell Wack the to give a public he had to clear it up publicly. Not necessarily an apology, but he would have to put some clarity on his statements. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like apology is even needed. You know what I'm saying? You know, apology is needed. It's like you're speaking on a dead person that can't defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? You had plenty of time to say that when he was here. After he died, you want to come with this type of crazy talk. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Something will have to be done publicly. Wack will have to come out publicly, and pretty much clean up those statements. You know, he wouldn't necessarily have to apologize, but he would at least have to clean up the statements. Of at least say something of he misspoke or something of that effect. You know what I'm saying? He would have to come out and clear that up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? If me personally, if I was in Big U's position, but then say Wack, you know, he's a grown man. He might say he might don't want to do that. He might feel like if he said it, he meant it. This how he feel, and he might not want to take it back. You know what I'm saying? Well, then me, it would be like a hands off policy as far as if something happened to you, you know, I tried to get you to, to clean that up. You know what I'm saying? You know, not saying that Big U would do something to him, but like I say, the little homies is mad about that. You know what I'm saying? So all it takes is Big U to tell the little homies, cool down on that, or not if he don't say nothing, if he don't go to the little homies and tell them, to fall back, then that's pretty much a green light. So for him to do that, you would have to pretty much clean that statement up. And if you're not willing to do that, then it's no reason for me to tell the little homies to fall back. You know what I'm saying? So it would be a situation like that. You know what I'm saying? If Wack didn't want to publicly clear that statement up, you know what I'm saying? Saying something like he misspoke or something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? Because Nipsey is a legend, man. And nobody could nobody could throw dirt on his legacy and take that from him. The things that he was able to accomplish in the 30 plus years, 33 years that he was here. You know what I'm saying? The man was able to accomplish monumental feats, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as in the hip hop, outside of the hip hop, just in the game culture, he showed kids that you didn't have to be this super savage character or be somebody outside of your character just to be a reputable gang member. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to promote violence. You didn't have to, promote gang robbing, stealing, and killing just to be a reputable gang member. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing wrong with gangs. Let's clear that up. There's nothing wrong with gangs. If you got a gang of dudes, right? Let's say you got a gang of dudes, about 15, 20 dudes, they're automatically going to be classified as a gang because it's a group of more than three. You know what I'm saying? So you got a group of 20 dudes, but their focus is positivity and doing great things in the neighborhood and giving back and all that. It's nothing wrong with that. But then if you got a gang of dudes, 20 dudes, and their whole focus is robbing, stealing, and pillaging and killing and causing as much turmoil in the community as they can, then yeah, of course, those type of that element of the gang, it needs to be, minimized. It needs to be focused more on the positive aspect of the things with a gang member could do, or just a person of the community. Not even like when you say a gang member, that automatically puts a negative stigma on it. But these people that's pillars of their communities. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, you know what I'm saying? These people that's it's things that these people could do in their communities and just in society in general. In society in general, that can have a positive effect. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference right there. And Nipsey showed that. You know what I'm saying? So for anybody to come and don't see that Nipsey was just much more than a rapper. We love Tupac because Tupac was much more than a rapper. Everybody know Tupac wasn't the greatest lyricist. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I think his beat selection was up here. That's what made Tupac such a great artist. One of the things that made Tupac such a great artist in my eyes was his beat selection, and he knew how to the right singers to put on these certain songs. You know what I'm saying? He would write these hooks for these singers, man, and the shit would just be magic every time. So Tupac, his beat selecting and just his knowledge of song format is what may set him apart from other artists. You know what I'm saying? And so, Nipsey, his music definitely resonate. You know what I'm saying? It definitely resonate. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't just love Tupac. I almost lost my train of thought. But we didn't just love Tupac for his rapping skills, man. We love Tupac for who he was as a person. Because all these people that is diehard Tupac fans, a lot of them wasn't around when Tupac was here. You know what I'm saying? So they just living off of it. They just, they love Tupac for the legacy, his legacy. They in love with his legacy. But Nipsey was the same way. We didn't just love Nipsey for his music. You know what I'm saying? We love Nipsey for the example that he set. Just not even as okay, he showed that, you could be a gang member and still be a pillar of the community. Yes, he showed that. But more than that, Nipsey showed what it was to be a man. You know what I'm saying? And in these days and times when we got the feminization of the males and all that shit, we got the no shot out, no shot to the LGBTQ, but they pretty much have taken over as far as their culture. You know what I'm saying? They have been able to pretty much push their culture through mainstream media to the point of where they have been able to take over in a sense, as far as you see it every time when you turn on the TV, you see it every TV show, just the LGBTQ, they're real popular right now. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty much pop culture. The LGBTQ. So in the days and times where we got the feminization of the male, we don't have many masculine, the alphas. It's not many alphas. You know what I'm saying? It's a feminized men nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So to see Nipsey representing as an alpha and that yeah, just that alpha male energy that we don't see no more, especially in the hip hop culture. It's more of the effeminized male uh that's pushed to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? So to see Nipsey, you know, carry the flag for the alphas and do his thing and make it look good. You know what I'm saying? It was about more than the music with Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? And so for Wack to try to minimize Nipsey to just being a rapper, that's just disrespectful in itself right there. Forget the what he said about him not being a legend, but just for him to try to minimize Nipsey to just being a rapper, that in alone in itself is disrespectful. But I know why he did that. The reason why Wack 100 is trying to take Nipsey and just turn him into just a rapper and uh, look past all the things that he was doing outside of hip hop is because he's in the same position that Nipsey is, and he's not doing none of those things. I mean, I can't say how much Wack gives back to his community or whatnot. I know he got a lot of his homies just mad at him right now, so that speaks for itself right there. But he's in the same position as Nipsey to do some of these things. Like, Nipsey was doing STEM programs. Nipsey was pretty much, into he was teaching the financial literacy through his music, you know what I'm saying? And different things to where he was giving back to the community and not taking. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't so much as taking, he was giving back. And Wack is in the same position. And people can be intimidated by things like that. You know what I'm saying? To where they could be like, okay, they could feel less than, a man if, you know what I'm saying, they not secure in themselves. You know what I'm saying? But what Wack failed to realize all it Nipsey was he educated himself. So that's how he understood what needed to be done, what the community needed, the things that the youth needed. He educated himself, so that's what Wack needs to do. Wack need to educate himself instead of speaking out, you know, on issues that he's not even qualified to speak out on. Just because a person got the bag, don't mean that they're qualified to speak on the very important issues that we face. You know what I'm saying? As a people and shit. Just because you got the bag, that doesn't qualify you to speak. Now in the streets, that's how it goes. The person with the bag, his words gonna hold more weight. You know what I'm saying? But in society in general, that's not how things work. You know what I'm saying? You can't be the leader for our people, as a whole, if you just moving off this street mentality way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? And that's Wack. He's stuck in this street way of thinking to where he hasn't been able to uh basically he hasn't been able to mature, as he should be. You know what I'm saying? At the age that he is at right now, he should be more mature, but he's stuck in that street way of thinking, and that's what that street way of thinking does. It keeps us in a dumbed down type of place. You know what I'm saying? That street mentality, it keeps us dumbed down pretty much. You know what I'm saying? You see it like if you go on Facebook or if you go on Instagram and you see this shit. You know what I'm saying? The people that our peers, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them is stuck in this street mentality. You know what I'm saying? We gotta rise above that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? When we see somebody doing good or doing something that, they might be making more strides than we are, we gotta be able to salute that, man, and learn from that. You know what I'm saying? And incorporate that into our game. If we see somebody doing better than us or doing more than us as far as, as for the people or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? Whether they could be teaching the people, they could be financially giving back, or it's different ways that you could serve the people. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Big, you spoke out on the issue, and I was waiting on that, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know exactly where Big U was gonna stand lean at, because I know him and Wack 100 has a relationship. But Big U, you know what I'm saying? He came out and he said, Nipsey's a legend, man. As he's supposed to do, man. You know what I'm saying? As he was supposed to do, because Nipsey is a legend by all accounts. You know what I'm saying? It's like certain titles are given. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people self-proclaim themselves to be this, that, or the third, but certain titles are given. In this case, the people have spoken. You know what I'm saying? The people have spoken. We say Nipsey's a legend. Who is Wack to try to come and throw his what he sees to be facts around to try to deter the people in either way? We already stepped it. You seen how the internet went up when Nipsey passed. No, there's plenty of celebrities that passed before and after Nipsey. And it never went up like that before as far as the internet. So that showed you the influence that Nipsey had. And that's another thing when it comes to this legend talk. It's more than just the music, it's the influence that Nipsey had on the culture. If we're talking about hip hop, it's the influence that Nipsey had on the culture. Not to mention the influence that he had on the world when he passed. You know what I'm saying? The influence that, you know, that he had, man. You know what I'm saying? On his peers. Yeah, man. The boy Nipsey was a legend, man. You can't take that from him, you know? So for somebody from the West Coast to come and try to speak against that, it's very shocking. But the general, the LA general, you know what I'm saying? The godfather of LA, yeah, I mean, the big fool, Big U, that spoke, you know what I'm saying, on Nipsey behalf. And now we got a real representative of the West Coast speaking out. So we can pretty much take that, you know, his words hold more weight than Wack, man. I broke that down earlier in the video. If you didn't hear it, then go back how I showed how Wack name hold more weight on the West Coast than parts of Big U name hold more weight on the West Coast than Wack. I broke that down earlier in the video. So if you didn't see that, you know, rewind, man, and go check that out, man. Because Big U name definitely hold more weight than Wack 100 on the West Coast, man. In LA, for sure, because for one, I ain't from LA, you know what I'm saying? So I can't just say that I'm just all up in LA politics, but I know that Wack 100 is not from LA. He's from Pacoima. Big U is from South Central LA. So just that alone, for them reasons alone, and Big U's reputation, he's you know he's a lot stronger out there than Wacky is. You know what I mean? That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? Since Wack wanna throw out all his facts, that's a fact right there. Big U name hold way more weight out on the West Coast than Wack 100. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Wack 100 is from Pacoima. That's the suburbs outside of LA. For a matter of fact, my first video on this channel was an interview with from this dude named Digital Pit Boss. He's from Pacoima. He interviewed Wack 100. I basically posted the interview on my page, and that was the first video on this channel. So that's part of the reason how I know a little bit about Wack. Besides that, I'm almost like a gang historian, and I try to stay, you know, do as much research I can on the gang history in this country. You know what I'm saying? From California to Chicago to New York to You know, even the gang culture here is, like I said, has been around since the 80s. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't start gang banging in New York to '93, as far as the Crip and Blood thing. But the gang culture where I'm at has been around since the '80s. You know what I'm saying? And I'm from here, it's like a three hour plane ride, 5 hour plane ride to LA from here where I'm at. Yeah, man. Big U is spoke. You know what I'm saying? The big fool spoke out. You know what I'm saying? On Nipsey's behalf, man. Long live neighborhood Nip. If you haven't heard that J Stone, and y'all go check out that J Stone. I want to say the name of the project is Definition of Loyalty. Yeah, I mean, but it ain't super hard to find. Just type in J Stone, it'll pop right up. That thing, that's like one of the hardest tapes out right now, or the hardest projects out. That J Stone from All Money In. Throw up the neighborhood for neighborhood Nip, man. No, I'm not a Crip, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still just gonna throw up the neighborhood for neighborhood Nip, man. Yeah, I mean, shout out to All Money In, you know what I'm saying? Them boys keeping the marathon going and all that. The marathon continues. I was just telling somebody the other day, I was chopping it up with one of my people, and I was telling them how surprised I still was that Nipsey just passed. You know what I'm saying? How he did, how he went out like that. You know what I'm saying? Right in his prime of his career, he got taken out. And it still is shocking. You know what I'm saying? Just as me being a hip hop historian. You know what I'm saying? That's the more of an aspect that I'm coming from, because in the streets, you know what I'm saying? We lose people every day in the streets, man. It's sad to say, you know what I'm saying, but we lose people to, violence, black on black violence. We lose that to people to that every day in the streets. But just being a hip hop historian and seeing Nipsey's rise and to see how he went out, before he even rose to his peak. You know what I'm saying? It was like, man, it was shocking. You know what I'm saying? Very shocking. And to know Nipsey was to love Nipsey, man. So that's pretty much, man, what that is, man. And shout out to Big U, man. Shout out to Big U. Shout out Kev Mack. If y'all don't know Kev Mack, he was the first one trying to get Nipsey a deal. Kev Mack had Nipsey Hussle before Big U did. And Kev Mack, he was trying to get Nipsey on. He was trying to use all his connections pretty much to get Nipsey Hussle a deal. And you know, Kev Mack had Nipsey Hussle at the beginning of his career when he was just starting to do his thing on the underground scene. He was trying to get Nipsey a deal, but when Big U came home, he was able to get Nipsey a deal. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beginning of the Nipsey we know today. Big U was his first manager, as far as, well, first it was Kev Mack. If you it's the same Kev Mack from Kev Mack videos. Kev Mack was Nipsey's first, you could say, manager. Then when Big U came home, he took on the task of getting Nipsey on, and basically that's what happened. Big U got Nipsey his first deal, and the Nipsey that we know today was born. You know what I'm saying? Him and Big U, Big U was able to use his connections that he had, with his name being such a credible name in the streets or whatever. He was able to use his influence and get Nipsey on. You know what I'm saying? So Nipsey Hussle and Big U, their relationship was, man, it was very solid. You know what I'm saying? And they definitely had a great relationship. It's sometimes better than others, which at the time when Nipsey passed, Big U wasn't his manager no more. So they had basically went their separate ways for whatever reason, but they still pretty much was both of them had a lot of love for each other. Even though the business relationship didn't work, both of them had a lot of love for each other by all accounts. Big U, he said on the Vlad interview that he had love for Nipsey, and by all accounts, Nipsey had a lot of love for Big U too. You know what I'm saying? Even though their business relationship wasn't able to prosper, you know what I'm saying? They started it out, and if for whatever reasons they had to separate, you know, they had to go their separate ways. But they still had a lot of love just on the fact that they was from the same neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And Nips, Big U was the big homie. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't never let nothing happen to Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? Big U wouldn't let nothing happen to Nipsey, man. That's his little homie, his little brother. You know what I'm saying? So they had even though their business relationship didn't work, they still had like a brotherhood of where Big U was Nipsey's big brother still. You know what I'm saying? And Nipsey will tell you that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's pretty much, you know, the gist of things, man. So it's good to see that Big U stepped out and clarified how he felt on the issue because his words are way more respected than Wack. You know, it's to the point now that we just look at Wack like a troll. But it's sad that you got to troll your own people, especially somebody that just passed, man. You trolling the dead man. You know what I'm saying? And basically, you trolling his fans, or you know, you trying to shit on his legacy, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. Nipsey was the best out the West. You know what I mean? Ain't too many came before Nipsey or after Nipsey. Well, I can't say after because we ain't seen that yet. But ain't too many that came before Nipsey or during his time that did it like Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? As far as that West Coast go. Nipsey made that shit look good, man. Straight up. Blueface could never be a Nipsey hustle. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit is in you, it's not on you. So I'm not saying Blueface can't mature and grow into a man, but as far as how with the type of shit when Nipsey was on, it's in you, it's not on you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we only get one of those every we only get dudes like that, one of them type of dudes every few generations you get one of them type of dudes to come along. You know what I mean? As we seen with your Malcolm and your Martins and you know these type of dudes, man. I can go on and on, but like every generation you get one of them. You know what I mean? Every other generation or so. You know what I mean? So Nipsey was one of those. He was one of the special ones. So for Wack not to be able to see that, man, that shit just blows me, man. It really blows me. Straight up. It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy, man. But man, I got a chance to listen to the game, his album today. You know what I'm saying? The game dropped his last album. We're gonna keep this on the West Coast. And it's a good segue because Wack 100 is the game's manager. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, the game put out a project not about a week or two ago called Born to Rap. And man, I followed the Game career since he came out with the documentary, and I always felt like Game had bars. You know what I'm saying? He could spit, but just because you could spit, don't mean you can make a good song. And that was one thing with the Game. Even though you know he could spit, but he could also make good songs. You know what I'm saying? Which I know his first project, I think 50 Cent helped him with that one. You know what I'm saying? So that's the project that I remember most of the Game's hits coming off of. When him and 50 split, he put out other projects, but he was never able to gain that same momentum that he had. But he still had good songs here and there that I could say the game could. I would be able to say the game could make good songs. Like one song that he made was the one with him and Lil Wayne, which they had a feature on it, but the one with him and Lil Wayne, that song is a classic. You know what I'm saying? But the game basically he put out an album and I pretty much was expecting boy to turn up. You know what I mean? To put out a classic project for himself. It's been a while since he put out a project. You know what I'm saying? It's like the music industry where it's at now. It's like it's open. The West Coast is popping right now. You know what I'm saying? We all know they got a different style of music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, the West Coast is popping. It's wide open. It's ready for the game to come and bring that shit that we know he could bring. I listen to the album, you know, while I'm going through it while I'm working out. Man, I couldn't even finish the album, man. I couldn't even get halfway through the album because I did not like not once. I like one song, and that's the song that he got out, the single that he's pushing with I forget who he got featured on it, but it's a singer on there. That song is cool. But as far as the rest of the album, man, that shit was garbage. You know what I'm saying? The album to me is a thumbs down, man. The game, his beat picking on this one was just whack. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm even talking about the game right now is because it's one song where he disses his brother. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I feel like to go on a fucking a damn your album and put out a diss song against your family is pretty much like you putting your family business all on wax. You know, I guess you're trying to monetize it or whatever, but I feel like it's whack. He dissed his brother. I'm not taking a side who's right or who's wrong on the situation as far as what gripes each of them had. Because both of them have their gripes by all accounts. You know what I'm saying? I seen Nipsey, Game, I seen his brother on the internet pretty much saying what his gripes was. And on the track, the game was pretty much saying all his gripes, but it's like to go public with the family business is whack to me. When I see people on Facebook doing that shit, arguing with the family all on public forum and all that, I always look at that as being lame. You know what I'm saying? The family, what happens in the house stays in the house. We learned that when we was coming up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for the game to take a whole song to diss his brother and throw all their dirty laundry out there, you know, it's like I almost look at the game as like an OG. The same as like with Wack. But it's like these dudes got a young dude's mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's that street mentality basically that I just spoke on. They stuck in that street mentality. So it's like they not educating themselves. You know what I'm saying? They just staying dumbed down to where they can only go so far. You know what I'm saying? With their way of thinking, you can only go so far as your growth in this street mentality way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about how much money you can make or anything like that. I'm talking about your growth as a man. You know what I'm saying? And what do you got to give back to the youth besides, you know what I'm saying, a street mentality that you're perpetuating this same cycle. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be some growth at some point. And I just thought the game was way past that. You know what I'm saying? To go on track dissing your brother, man. Come on, man. Imagine Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P. Nipsey. Imagine Nipsey Hussle dissing hit Black Sam on a track. Nipsey Hussle would never do no shit like that. And see, that's what I mean by this is the difference and when you can't compare like Wack. He's trying to compare Nipsey with these other artists because they sold this man out. You can't compare the two. Nipsey would never go on a track and diss Black Sam. If they would have fell out, I couldn't see Nipsey going on a track dissing his brother. So for Game to go on the track dissing your brother, man, and throwing your family laundry all out in public, it's like that shit is very whack, man. You know what I'm saying? It's very whack. And that song, by the way, it was garbage anyway. The beat was whack. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. And I always had a lot of respect for the Game as far as being one of the forefront of the West Coast hip hop scene, especially in his heyday. You know, his story, he had a genuine story. I'm not talking about the stripper shit and all that, but you know how when he got shot up and all that, and the gang banging and shit, all that, he had a genuine story. I had a lot of respect for that. But to see that, I hate like even like my homies and shit, you know what I'm saying? When I see that they haven't grown from the same shit that we was on in high school and shit, and they mentality haven't grown none, I I distance myself from that. You know what I'm saying? I don't hang with motherfuckers this wants to perpetuate this street mentality, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's no growth in that. You know what I'm saying? And basically, that's the Game. That's what I'm hearing in his music. And to me, that's why his music doesn't resonate with the people. It's because he's not showing no growth. So now he want to retire. He had a retirement party the other day. You know, it probably was a week after his album dropped, after he seen the album. So I don't know. But he said because he didn't say it before he dropped the album. But after he dropped the album, now he's retired and all that. Your music ain't resonating because you ain't growing as a person, man. You stuck in this street mentality. You rapping the same shit you was rapping when you was 17, 18. And now your mid 30s or however old the Game is. You haven't shown any growth, man. I hear the Joe Moses. He's a blood from what set is Joe? He's a hat. He's a brim from the L.A. He's a L.A. brim. He put out a project. I want to say the name of the project is West Side. Y'all go tap in with that. Joe Moses put out a project. He's younger than the Game, but if you hear his lyrics and the things that he talks about, he's more mature than the Game. And if I'm not mistaken, he's younger than the Game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how much younger, but you know, you could just see the difference in maturity level, man. And like I say, the Joe Moses, the West Side, that's a quality album. I'm not saying I like every song on the album, but it's a quality West Coast project, man. That's something that the West Coast could be proud of. This shit with the Game put out, I couldn't even I couldn't even get halfway through it. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even get halfway through the Game new project. Yeah, I was very disappointed. You know what I'm saying? I had to stop my workout, man, just to turn that shit off and throw that J Stone on. I had to throw that J Stone back on, man. You know what I mean? A real spill. Hey, man, as you come in the room, man, make sure y'all hit that like button. Show love. You know what I mean? When you hit the like button, it puts my video up in the recommendations, man, for other people to see it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. We ain't gonna go too long. We're going over an hour. We're going up on an hour right now, so we're gonna cut this one short. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, subscribe to my other channels, Hip Hop Media Outlet, Indigenous People Media Outlet. Follow me on Instagram, One Urban Media Fix. Go subscribe to my affiliate channel, Trap House Boxing. You know what I'm saying? That's all things boxing. And yeah, man, as the stories unfold, man, as they come, we're gonna be here bringing y'all these lives, man. So looking forward to me coming back to y'all with more content. You know, shout out to everybody that tuned in. I'm out, man. Gone.